Quick, like and subscribe for insane luck in every game. What is going on, everybody? I'm back making another video, and in today's video, I am making the ultimate guide for trading in Pet Simulator 99. And this guide isn't just for Pet Simulator 99. This can be applied to other games as well, and even the very basics for real-life stock trading. I know a lot of people are probably laughing as soon as I said that, but once you understand the basics of an economy and how the market moves, everything that I'm about to teach in this video is actual useful information, not only for Pet Sim 99, but any trading game. Once you learn how the economy works, you can start trading in any game and get a lot better. So starting off, the first thing that you guys need to understand is supply and demand. I know we're starting off with the super basics here, but there's a lot of people that don't know anything about this. Obviously, there's kids that play this game, and not just kids, young teenagers, and maybe they haven't had an economics class yet, so they honestly just don't know. So yeah, the very first thing that we're going to be talking about is supply and demand. The price of an item directly correlates with how much of an item there is and how much people want the item. That's what the supply and the demand is. So if there's a super rare pet with a super low supply, but nobody really wants it, such as a shiny rainbow pet, then the demand is super low. Even though the supply is also super low, the price is still not that high because nobody wants it. And then you can have something the other way around. If you go look at the price of like huge popcat, for example, there's 11.5 thousand of these, and it's worth 500 million. And then you can look at a pet like huge party monkey with only 1.1 thousand exist. It's literally 10 times as rare as a huge popcat, 10 times less exist, which means it should be worth way more, but it's actually worth less. And that is simply because the demand for a popcat is so much higher. Another example would be like a huge storm agony. 5,000 of these exist, and it's worth 858 million. And then you can look at a pet, we'll just use party monkey again as an example. It's almost 5 times as rare, and it's worth less than half, even though it's 5 times more rare. So rarity doesn't always determine the value of a pet. The demand has a huge influence on the price of things. Like, just look at Titanic Batcat, for example. Everyone really likes how the Titanic Batcat looks, so the price has just been going up and up and up recently. So that is pretty much supply and demand. Supply is how much of something there is, and demand is how much people want it. So those two factors together is what determines the value of something. So when you get something with a really low supply and a really high demand, such as like Titanic Hippo Melon, then a pet like this is going to be super valuable when it's got a really low supply and a really high demand. And those are kind of like the best pets in the game. Those are the stuff that you want. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is inflation, and this fluctuates all the time depending on a bunch of different factors. So inflation in this game isn't a direct correlation. There's obviously a big market swing all the time with people overreacting to inflation or underreacting to inflation. So if you don't know what inflation is, I'll explain this concept as well, because like I said, I have to explain a lot of these concepts to people that don't know, because if I knew absolutely nothing about trading or how an economy worked, I would want somebody to explain the terms in the video instead of just rambling on and assuming everyone knows what it means. So inflation is pretty much the current amount of currency in the entire game across everyone's accounts. So pretty much if there's a new update and everybody can farm diamonds like twice as fast, well then the inflation on pets is going to start going up twice as fast. If pets were raising an average of like 1% a day, and you can all of a sudden earn diamonds twice as fast, well then everything should start going up about 2% a day. But people overreact to stuff. Like when there's a new diamond farm, everyone thinks it's overpowered. Inflation will go up like 30, 40, 50%. You'll see the price of a happy rock or a happy computer just jump up. I'll just give you an example, from like 20 billion all the way up to like 30 or 35 billion, when it should have only gone up a couple billion. So people overreact to inflation and stuff all the time. I mean, that's just how it works in this game and a lot of games. People are going to overreact to stuff, and the community's opinion and how they react to things greatly affects the market. It's the same thing with demand. The only reason stuff like Popcat, Batcat, Storm Agony is really high in value, even though there's a lot of supply, a lot existing, it's just the demand. So inflation and deflation can be greatly over exaggerated by the community, and these are perfect opportunities to take advantage and make some profit. So if you see that everything is going up a ton, that means your diamonds are going to be less valuable. If you have 100 million diamonds and the price of a happy rock goes from 30 billion to 50 billion, well, you were able to buy 3 happy rocks before and still have 10 billion left over. Or I keep saying billion and million, you get the point. You pretty much went from being able to buy 3 to only being able to buy 2. So during a bunch of inflation, you want to have pets that are going to go up as well. And then during deflation, when everything is going down, you're going to want to have diamonds because all the pets are going to get cheap. So let's take the same example from before. Let's say you have 100 million diamonds and the price of happy rocks goes from 50 million down to 30 million. Well, that is deflation. So you want to have diamonds during that time because now your diamonds are worth more. You can buy 3 huge happy rocks instead of 2. So during inflation, you're going to want to have pets. During deflation, you're going to want to have currency, which is diamonds in this game. So there's some other factors that can cause deflation as well, such as inflation going way too high and then people realize there's not enough diamonds in the game to buy most stuff in the trading plaza. Everybody's broke on diamonds, so stuff will start deflating. And then there's also stuff like tax. They recently added in a 1% booth tax to kind of equalize the amount of diamonds in the game. If people are constantly farming, then they need stuff to spend their diamonds on constantly. So this 1% tax kind of keeps the diamond levels from inflating so much all the time, which will keep everything a little bit more stable. So enough talking about inflation. We'll get back to it in the very end when I'm going to tie all of these different things together, but these are all concepts that you have to understand if you want to learn how to trade and you want to actually know how the market works. So the very next thing is trends, and we already covered this a little bit with like Popcat, Batcat, Storm Agony, Capybara, Cyborg Capybara. There's trends that happen in this game where people will just start collecting a certain pet. It'll get hoarded, which pretty much means people get a bunch of them and don't trade them away, so there's not that many in the circulation of the economy. There's not that many for trade, even though the exist count may be a bunch bigger. So for example, this happened to Nightmare Cat. Nightmare Cat is worth like over 4 Titanics because almost 75% of them are hoarded. So there's way less existing than it actually shows. So this is an example of a trend. Everybody bought a bunch of Nightmare Cats and hoarded them, and now they're worth a ton because there's barely any in the game for trade. So if you want to hop on these trends, they are sometimes risky. Like if you hopped on the Capybara trend or the Popcat trend when it was at its peak, and then the pets went down a bunch because they were way too high for the high amount that exists. I mean, hopping on these trends can be really risky, but you can also make a lot of profit if you get in on these trends early. So you have to know what to look for ahead of time, and you have to understand these concepts if you want to benefit from them as well. The next concept that you need to understand is limited items. So this directly correlates with supply and demand. If something goes limited, the supply can no longer go higher, and if something goes limited, the demand instantly goes higher. People want things that are limited. People want things where the supply isn't going to go up anymore because then they know it's going to be a good investment. That's why, for example, you don't want to go into the trading plaza and go buy a bunch of these active huges. Because if you just go buy a bunch of stuff that's going to keep getting hatched and keep going up and exist, well then the demand's going to keep going down and the value's going to keep going down. So what you want to do is invest in limiteds, or invest in things that are limited and being hoarded, which is what we just talked about a minute ago with trends. But yeah, you want to invest in things that are limited, invest in things that you think are really rare and undervalued, which pretty much just means the demand is really low, but the supply is also low, so you think the demand should go up. And then also invest in things that are about to go limited if you have a good suspicion that it's going to rise. Now, for example, I wouldn't go and invest in Titanic sketch cats right now, because they're going up a lot. And once it goes limited and the exist count is revealed, there's a good chance it could be a high exist count and then the value goes back down a little bit. But I think something like these would be a smarter investment. These are about to go limited. You can already see that they've been raising over the past few days, and these are actually really useful. Super Magnet and Boss Chest Mimic. In my opinion, these are two of the best farming enchants in the game. So investing in something like this that is about to go limited is a really good idea. You don't want to go and invest in a bunch of active huges that are getting hatched all day, because then your stuff is just going to go down. You want to invest in stuff that's going to go up, obviously. So when something's about to go limited, it's always a slightly different situation, because I think it's a really good idea to invest in these enchants right now, but it might not be a good idea to invest in the Titanic sketch cat right now, because I think it might be overrated just because it's new. And once the exist count comes out, it could drop. And then leading us into our final topic is big risks. Now, not everything has a set in stone value in this game. Not everything is super simple. Even the pets that seem super simple, like they have a set value, change all the time. Like just look up Happy Computer or Happy Rock. These are the most common huges in the game, yet they fluctuate in price all the time because of inflation, because of trends, because of deflation. But yeah, if you just look at the price of Happy Computer or Happy Rock, this is pretty much a good guidance if you want to see what the economy is doing right now. If Happy Rock and Happy Computer are going up, there's most likely inflation. If Happy Rock and Happy Computer are going down, it's most likely deflation. And the reason these are really good to look at is because there's a million exist of each. They are the cheapest and most commonly traded huges by far. So these are a really good baseline to look at the current inflation or deflation in the market. But yeah, the final topic, like I said, is big risks. Some of the best profit I've ever made was from big risks. If you guys remember about a year ago in Pet Sim X, only the OGs are gonna remember this. I had a glitched huge cat that I traded for, and I ended up flipping it for like 5 times more than I paid. So if you can find something really niche that not many people have, you can make a lot of profit off of it, but it's not always easy. So for example, this shiny rainbow huge squirrel, I'm pretty sure I got this for pretty cheap. I only paid a couple billion for it, and I'm trying to get like 5 billion or more. This is a big risk, and it's a lot of work to get rid of, because even though the supply is super low, it's super rare, the demand is also super low, nobody wants it. So taking big risks can make you the most profit, but it's also, like I said, a big risk, such as this shiny Titanic. I could make like an entire Titanic profit. I could make billions and billions profit off of this, but also it could not be traded for weeks. When you take these really big risks, you don't always get the trade as quick as you think you are, and you don't always make as much profit as you think you are, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes you can make way more profit than you originally thought. Sometimes you don't make as much as you originally thought. Okay, so I'm gonna tie all these ideas back together. So for anybody watching this for the first time, if you didn't understand any of these concepts, or if you only understood a few of them, having them tied together is going to be useful for a lot of people. So let me do that right now. So supply and demand. determines the price of pets. And then when inflation and deflation come in, this is going to be what you want to invest in. This is going to directly determine what you want to invest in. So try to find pets that have a low supply, high demand. You want things that are going to go up in value and be easy to trade, and obviously stuff you can make a lot of profit off of. The more profit, the more risk you're going to have to take, such as trading for something with a really low supply, but also a really low demand. If the demand's really low and the supply's really low, then technically it's a super underrated pet, but it's going to be really hard to make that extra profit. But then when inflation comes into play, you have to look at what you currently have. If there's a ton of inflation, you don't want to be holding on to a bunch of diamonds. And if there's a ton of deflation, it's not that big of a deal that you hold on to diamonds, but if you can go get a bunch of diamonds during deflation, then you can buy all your stuff back for cheaper plus more, because you'll have leftover diamonds from buying everything at a cheaper price. So depending on what the market is doing recently, it's going to determine what you're going to want to hold on to and invest in. If there's currently trends and you feel like the trend is dying down, then you might need to sell those pets that you bought into on the trend, because as soon as a trend starts dying down, it can easily reverse the table and start dropping like Capybara or Popcat did back in the day after it peaked really high the first time it rose. Then it dropped down and kind of leveled out in the middle. And then things going limited, that also determines if you want to invest in it or not. And you just gotta take some big risks sometimes. So yeah, this video was pretty vague. I was just pretty much trying to explain all the different terminology and all these different concepts that have to do with a market. It's not a super specific video, like if you trade this pet for this and then sell it for this, you'll make this much profit. If you want the super specifics, then you can go watch me do trades on Doggy to Titanic, or even more recently, you can watch my Doggy to Rap leaderboard videos if you want to see some specific trades that I make profit on. But yeah, the specific trades don't mean that much if you don't understand the concepts. That's the point of this video. The specific trades don't mean much when the pets are always changing in values and there's just always new fluctuations in the market. So watching an outdated video of specific trades doesn't really help people as much if they don't understand the concepts to begin with. So yeah, I hope I was able to help some of you guys out in this video. And also, if there is anything that I missed that's important for people to understand if they're trying to get good at trading and understand the market, if there's anything I left out, comment down below. I will heart the comment, I will pin it to the top. The entire point of this video is to help people out and to be educational, so if I messed up and I didn't include something, please let me know and I will correct it by pinning or hearting the comment so everybody can see. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, comment some ideas for more future videos down below, and subscribe if you have not already with post notifications on if you want to know when I go live or upload again. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next one very soon. Peace out, everybody.